Whether you're a suburban athlete or an Olympic champion, you've got to work hard to get results. We've put over 15 years' experience into developing Active Man, combining vitamins, minerals and proteins. Active Man helps provide you with the nutrients you need to optimize performance and assist recovery. Discover the Active Man range, now available. Active Man, power up.
Welcome to this week's Power Progress podcast, and I think this for the third time, Phil Hyland. This is series number 3. I'll bring you in first, mate. How you doing? You good?
I'm all right, mate. I think it's number 2, man. I think this is the second time.
No, it's the third, because you know why? Because the first time was about, I'm sure it was about habits.
Yeah.
And the second time was about expectations related to the football match. Do you remember England? And I actually featured you on my YouTube. So this one's our third one.
I think you're right. I think you may be right, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually our third time. So yeah, always great to chat to you anyway, mate.
It's always good. Always.
We just had a chat beforehand, but we thought we'd stop it there so we're not losing vital chat. So we went live. What was the subject? What should we go into today?
So I think we should go into the book of life and how there is no rule book of living, because I did a post about it the other day. I've just realised my clothes era is on site. I hate that being there, but let's leave it. And I think that very often all of us live according to this imaginary rule book of life, and it's a fictitious thing. And I think it's responsible for. Certainly was responsible for me for a lot of depression and a lot of worry and stress and anxiety. So, yeah.
I think a big part of what you do now, would you say was a breakthrough of that chapter when you had to go through that? Or
100%, definitely. And the older I get, the more, I work quite hard on myself. I do a lot to try and make sure my eyes and my blinkers stay as open as possible, because I was very close-minded as a kid. Grew up in a town. I was like the in-between. It's very towny.
Yeah.
Don't listen to my music, I ain't gonna like you. I was that kind of narrow-minded little oik, to be honest.
Yeah.
The older I get, the more I realise the more open you are, and the more open you are to broadening horizons. You know what I mean? And learning about different stuff, and keeping your eyes open, the easier life becomes, and you just flow through life rather than having these barriers put up in front of you put barriers in front of yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Be so tunnel vision. If you're not what they say, you need to be disassociated to see what you look like from the outside, I guess.
Yeah. There's an analogy. I've been using this analogy loads lately, so I might as well say it again. It's like a fish in a fish bowl doesn't know it's in water. It only knows it's in water and when it jumps out, and it's like, oh my God, what's all this dry stuff around me? You know what I mean? It's like, because it's in the water, it's part of it, and you can't see it when you're part of it. And when you're blinkered like that, you can't see the wood for the trees. You can't see other options and possibilities that might be available to you. So
it's spinning off a little bit here. Have you done many of them personality tests?
I did when I was younger. Yeah.
Do you believe in them? Do you think it's something?
I think we subconsciously doctor the answers, to be honest, because we know what we want to say and we know how we want to be. So when it says, what you like in social situations, a lot of people say, I'm all right, because you want to be that person. You know what I mean? But actually, I think you doctor the answers a little bit. So
you know the answer before you even do it, and whether that answer is true to yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You sort of preempt it. Yeah. So not sure about them really.
I'm sorry, I can heavily relate to what you can be so tunnel vision. You can believe what you believe, and nothing else matters. And when you start broadening your horizon, you start hearing other things, and you start and you question yourself, which is a good thing. And start obviously open up your horizons and find out, actually, is it true what you're telling yourself, I guess?
Yeah, totally. And also, you can't get what you can't see. Like if there's a football and it's down the side of a window, behind a wall, you can't see it, you're not going to go for it, right? Whereas if it's in plain sight, you can go out there and you can kick it. And it's the same, like just in life. If you can't see an opportunity, then you ain't going to go and get it, And we tell ourselves so many things like, I'm not good enough to get that promotion at work. And that right there is causing us not to see that we might be able to be promoted. Do you see what I mean? So, and because of what we tell ourselves, we just don't go for certain things. You know, it's like me at the moment, I'm banging to getting outdoors and going on adventures. Like one of my things that I keep telling myself is chase excitement, right? Get more excitement in my life. So I went wild camping the other week. I just like, I want to get out there. I want to get on my own. I want to go somewhere I'm not really supposed to go and just camp there. And I did it. I went down south, Jurassic Coast. It was banging, mate. It was one of the best trips I've ever done. Solo, you know, stayed out. I hit a flask of whiskey. I fell asleep under the stars, and it was just the best thing. The me 10 years ago would have been like, oh, it's scary, or you're not technically allowed to wild camp. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I wouldn't have even seen it was a possibility. Yeah. And now I'm like, you know what? I can do anything. You know, and not just adventure stuff. There's so much things I can do with business and just with life. And now I can see it, so I can go after it.
Some people would fear that as well, wouldn't they? They'll go, oh, yeah, that's not going to be very comfortable. What if this happens, that happens? So that's the other end of it, isn't it? They're not going to see what benefit they're going to get from doing something like that.
And often it's those same people that, since I've done it, say to me, wow, I'd love to be able to do that. I wish I could do that. And I say, well, why can't you?
Yeah.
Or I'm not, you know, my back would hurt sleeping, or what if someone comes and gets you in the middle of the night? Do you know what I mean? Or I don't know that my knees would be able to get up the hills. Or it's just excuse after excuse. And we do that with everything in life, don't we? It's like, well, we talk ourselves out of it. We create these beliefs, and then that just affects the way we act, which then affects the results we get, and ultimately happiness, which is what life is all about.
Yeah. So what was Phil's rule book of, say, go back to when you was, I don't know, say 20?
Yeah. So I
have it mapped out.
Yeah. So I, you know, very often we think we have this, let's call it a rule book that says you go to school, you go to uni, you go to A levels, you go to a uni, you get a job, blah blah blah. You know the drill. Yeah. And I had that kind of drilled into me a little bit. And it's not right. It's not right or wrong. You know, what I'm about to say doesn't mean anything's right, or there's no right or wrong way to live. But I had the thought process of, right, when you're 20, you come out of uni, you get a job. Then you get to, like, I don't know, 25, you should have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. And then 30, buy a house, for example. 35, have kids, whatever, you know. But I had these points on a timeline of life. And I thought, that is, quotation marks, that's just what you do. I hate that phrase, you know. Well, it's just what you do, innit, mate? That's what you do in life. Is it? You know? And because I hadn't hit certain milestones that I put in front of me, I hadn't
passed on by beliefs as well from other people, probably as well.
You get these from parents, from other people, what your pals are doing, what they teach you at school, what you see on the news and the media and all of that, you know, social media as well. Because I hadn't, for example, bought a house when I was younger, because I hadn't got married and had kids at certain points when I thought I should have done, I wasn't earning a certain amount of money by a certain age, you know, it stressed me out. And I'm like, oh, Christ, I'm really behind in life. You know, I'm really behind, man. Now I'm 40, I'm single, I don't have kids, I'm not married, you know, I've got my own place, but it's not the big farmhouse mansion that I thought I was going to have when I was younger. Yeah. And I'm and this is going to sound a bit woo-woo and out there, I'm happier than I've ever been, mate.
Yeah.
Because I now realise that there's no rule book to life. No. You know, if I want to just piss off at a weekend with my tent in my car and go and sleep on a beach, I'm going to go and do that. You know, the only rule, in my opinion, to kind of live by in life is do what you enjoy.
Yes.
Do what makes you happy. And if I don't have kids, I don't have kids. I'm not going to put it on a big pedestal and put loads of attachment to it. If I don't get married, if I don't do X, Y, Z, so what? At the end of the day, I'm going to die in however many years' time. I can either spend the time from now until death, sounds morbid, you know, stressing about not being where I feel like I should be, or where my mates are, or whatever, or I can spend that time enjoying myself, having as much fun, feeling fulfilled and content, you know.
How many times do you see as well, on the outside at least, someone's got this big house, what they've always wanted. They've got this wife, what they've always wanted, what they perceived they wanted. Kids, they've got this high-powered job, and then you find out actually they're smashing it on the weekends and loads of coke and drinking, and they're actually pretty depressed.
Yeah, oh, totally.
It doesn't mean anything, does it?
No, I know people who kind of judge other people purely on their job title, right? And you're someone, a family friend, and like my folks, for example, a little bit like this, will say, oh yeah, hasn't so and so done well? He's become the CEO of so and so company. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, that's a good achievement, but you don't know that he's not crying himself to sleep every single night.
Yeah.
You don't know that he's having a hideous time in life. It looks good because he's got CEO of this big ass company after his name, but that to me doesn't mean anything, and that, again, it's not wrong to chase becoming the top of a company and chase all the money in the world and whatever else. But for me, I chase happiness, I chase excitement, I chase fulfillment, and I don't get that from working 60-hour week and having a lovely house or whatever. I'd rather be in my tent and having a fire in the woods.
Yeah, exactly, mate. At least you're free, and at least you're doing something like you said. It's enjoyable. You feel relaxed and stuff like that, which is brilliant. There's a bit where I'm going to take you back in the past, and I remember I was in the car with my dad, and he works for Portsmouth Aviation, and he's like a factory really, and he's quite high up. He's a programmer. And I remember at the time I said, Dad, I'm going to do fitness on the cruise ship. And he said, oh, yeah, that was something I really wanted to do when I was younger, but I didn't. I was like, all right. I said, what do you think about me going on the cruise ship? He said, Nath, do something what you love to do, because you'd be miserable like me, going to work every day, doing a job what I hate. And out of all the things what my dad said, that really hit home, that I've always made it a priority that I do a job that I wake up and I'm excited about.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to be fun. It's something which I'll do even if I wasn't paid for. And that's something I could be thankful that he sort of delivered that. Whether he meant to do that, I just caught him on a bad day. That's something which really helped me, because I could have just had a job which had that status as such, which paid me a lot, but would I be happy with it,
Yeah, and again, I will, stress that you can't, this isn't how everyone should live, not everyone likes to go off in the woods and go hiking with a load of weight on their back and, drink whiskey out of a hip flask on the edge of a cliff. But it's the message is about what you said there. Do what makes you happy, do what you enjoy doing, man. I do not want to get to 60, 70, 80 and look back and go, you know what? I haven't had fun in life. I haven't enjoyed my time on this planet. I don't want to be that person, And when I say that, I mean truly enjoy it. I don't mean going out and getting nailed every weekend, because yes, it's good fun here and there, but I don't want to be doing that and feeling shit every Saturday or Sunday morning. That's not for me where it's at.
I mean, what's even more frightening is how much have they developed new memories to relate back to doing that. I mean, everyone to their own, of course, but is it, you'd have to question, is that more of a distraction as opposed to actually having fun?
I think it is a lot of the time. I think a lot of the time it's running away from pain rather than running to pleasure, So that camp I went on the weekend, did a massive old trek. It was good fun. That was me running towards pleasure. That wasn't me escaping life. It wasn't me going, oh God, life is crap at the moment. I need to get out in the woods or on my tent. It was me going, right, do you know what do I love doing? I love being outdoors. I love camping and fending for myself, not on a campsite, but just on my own somewhere. Okay, I'm going to do it. Let's go and do it. A few weeks ago, I woke up at stupid o'clock in the morning just to watch a sunrise, because I haven't really seen a sunrise in this country. I don't
appreciate it as well.
I appreciate it. Mate, I drove down. It was ace. Found a beach I've never been to in the south. There's not many nice beaches in the southeast, right? So I drove to this beach miles away, 2 hour and a half drive, and I got down and there's no one there. And I just watched the sun come up, and it was mental, mate. I absolutely loved it. It's just these little experiences, isn't it, that just make life a little bit more fulfilling and worthwhile. Otherwise, you just get sucked into the same old bloody treadmill of everything, the monotony of life.
I'd say it's only the last few years I can honestly say I'm starting to really appreciate, if you like, nature. You know, just things what we have there, what we don't even see because we're too busy doing our everyday tasks. You know, like you said about the sunrise, even about just walking in the woods on a sunny morning, things like that. I'm really starting to appreciate a lot more. And I don't know whether that's down to that maybe I might have had some sort of psychic wound in the past. I don't know, you know, but that might be something I need to look into a bit more because I really appreciate it now.
Yeah, I think it's, and this is a real spiritual hippie word, but comes down to a bit of an awakening sometimes. Yeah. I think, you know, you have this awakening where you literally wake up and realize, hang on a sec, you know, this is what I love doing. This isn't what I like. I don't like going out and getting pissed so much anymore. Still enjoy it, but it's not really my jam anymore. Now, my thing is being outdoors. You know, I love fishing. I do that as much as I can. It's being out in, for me, nature, exploring, adventures, going around different parts of the country. Like a little mini awakening, if you like, that I've had recently is that I put a big barrier in front of myself around time and travel. Not time travel, but traveling. I would say to myself, "Cool, listen, if it's a 3-hour drive just to get somewhere to watch it, or 2.5-hour drive to watch a sunset, nah, it's too much. It doesn't make sense." But so what if it doesn't make sense? Do you know what I mean? Because I would end up not doing things just because it's a long drive. It's a bit stupid, isn't it? You can't do this.
I'd say the other thing of that is when you hear this a lot, that people would travel, say, down to Newcastle to London, which takes 3 hours for a long weekend, as it were. And then they hear that someone's, I don't know, going abroad. What, you going there for a long weekend? Yeah, it takes 3.5 hours. It's actually not much difference to actually driving 3 hours to London, train to London. So it's perspective as well. Sometimes you get a little bit mixed with this, you know. When it comes to
totally. Well, I was driving down, so that camp was in Dorset. So for me, southwest coast kind of. Yeah. And for me, it took me 3.5 hours to get there, and I was about 3 hours in, and still half an hour away, and I was like, I was in traffic. And I was like, oh God, is this a sensible thing? Because I'm literally going to get there. I'm going to get there, put my bag. I got there about 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, I'm going to walk for a bit, go to sleep, pitch my tent, sleep, walk back, get in my car, come home again. I'm like, this seems like a long way. But as soon as I got out of the car, I said to myself, of course this is worth it, mate. Yeah. Of course this is worth it. And it most definitely was, you know, and again, that experience is a great way to broaden horizons. You know, it's a great way to change the lenses through which you perceive the world, right? And so this is a good example. That for me has now reinforced the fact that a 3.5, even 4-hour drive just to go somewhere for a night, of course it's doable, of course it's fine, you know, it's all good, because you don't know what you're going to experience, or you're going to experience something pretty mega when you get there. You might not, it might be horrible, but either way, it's another experience. And I think that's what a lot of folks could get more of in their life.
And you can spin it like this. If someone goes out on a Saturday night, just say, right, and they spend, I don't know, £200, whatever it may be, get really drunk, and then on the Sunday, what are they going to do for all day? Nothing. So if they put it like that, they need to put that into consideration, that if they're going to do that on a Saturday, they're going to waste so many hours on a Sunday.
Yeah,
we won't do it that way, will we? You know?
No. I know exactly. Oh, you've wasted 6 hours driving there and back in the car. Yeah, but you've wasted 6 hours sitting on the sofa puking, feeling sorry for yourself, mate, like a sweating wreck. It's the same thing, isn't it? You're right. It's the same thing, just a little bit more wholesome.
Exactly. Yeah. So going back to this rulebook again.
Yeah.
So I think I had a little bit of a limiting beliefs when it comes to having a family. And I think when I was younger, I was around a lot of families who weren't necessarily happy, you know, when they'll get people complaining, oh, when you get kids, it, you know, all change you and all this sort of stuff. But over these last, and I think it's down to obviously maybe I've had several awakenings. I've been around more sort of positive people, I guess. And then I'll get the other side of it, how much it's done for them as people and how much they get from being a father, you know. So now I've started awakening to wanting kids, whereas my rule book was I didn't want to have any children.
Yeah.
So that's where I've changed. And I'm 42 and now I'm just having that awakening where actually I'm probably ready. well, as ready as I can be, you know?
Yeah. And you've come to that point through work, working on yourself, the people you hang around, what you're consuming. Do you know what I mean? And that's such a key thing when it comes to changing your beliefs and therefore this rule book of life. It's the more experience you have, the more you work on yourself, the more you read and learn and hang around different groups of people, the more you realize that again there isn't a rule book, and it's like, well, actually I can do whatever I want now. It doesn't matter. And if I want kids now, then all good. And you're right, we change the beliefs that we hold as we get older. Well, no, we don't all. Not all of us do. Some of us stay in that fixed mindset, But those who adopt a growth mindset, i.e., one where you accept that, hang on a minute, this is the way I think, but maybe there's a different way. Maybe I am receptive to having kids. Maybe I could get a promotion. Maybe I could do this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
You start seeing opportunities, don't you? You start going for stuff.
I think that's the key. When the Dorset trip, was that when I'd message you? Are you available on that weekend?
Yeah.
Was that it? Because I was down London, you see. So yeah, so I was going to see if you were available. I was going to see if we could do this in person. I was going to just
mate. Yeah, that would have been banging. We would do that next time. Let's do that next time.
Yeah, just wasn't right time. Next time we'll have to definitely catch up in person. I was trying to do it with Arjuna, but it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, he's quite near you, isn't he?
Fairly near. It's about 40 minutes drive.
That's
so
all right.
It's a lot nearer than 3 hours London, So it'd be interesting to see what this sort of chat would escalate to.
Come on, mate.
In the same room,
Yeah, I think we'd be here for hours, to be honest. We should go off. We should drive even further down and go off, sit on the edge of a cliff, open a cold beer, and talk this.
Yeah, definitely, mate. But yeah, have you got any final thoughts for someone who's maybe like stuck in that loop of just wanting this perfect story?
Yeah, chase excitement. That's my thing at the moment. 2 words: chase excitement. What excites you, and get after it. Kids are excited about everything, aren't they? They're excited about all sorts. They're all wrapping paper. How exciting. Wow, there's a bit of grass. Oh, there's a snail shell. Because it's all new to them. What is this? It's new. As you get older, there's less, or a lot of us have less new and less novelty in our life, and therefore there's less excitement. Less excitement means monotony, boring, dull. Oh God, life is crap. So chase excitement, get after it. You can have all the self-help tools under the sun, but this one for me is a biggie.
Yeah, I'm smiling about that because I remember being a child and I opened up a transformer and I ended up playing with the box. I was more excited about the box and imagining it. So that's what made me smile there. And you're right, chase excitement and use your imagination. I think that's a really good way to finish. But per usual, mate, always great to have you. And next time it has to be in person. We've got to make that happen.
Let's do it. You're looking pretty stacked as well, mate. You've been training.
Yeah, I have, mate. I'm on a gain at the moment. So I'm on a 2,800 calorie with a 30% protein, and I'll manage it. So I'll still have my treats.
Yeah.
I'll just make sure by the end of the week it's 2,800. It seems to be working so far. And lifting good at the gym, and it's not too many sessions either. So,
nah, mate, I'm similar. I'm funny you say that because yesterday I've decided to just do trying to strip a little body fat. I've never been in the realms of you, but I just want to get a little bit more definition purely because I'm a real vain bastard, and that's it. I just want to look a bit better.
Yeah, so, always good. And you got I see you posted on the story that you had a fresh haircut ready for the podcast.
Did it, mate? For this podcast, especially, I had an afro before this, so.
Brilliant stuff. All right, mate. Catch up soon.
Cheers, Dave. See you, mate.